Karen's chilling threat to Amy, the secret that forced Matt to choose. Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel. For Roloff family latest news update, please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. For nearly 2 decades, Little People, Big World drew viewers into the lives of the Roloff family. Cameras rolled as Matt Roloff built his Karen's chilling threat to Amy, the secret that forced Matt to choose. Farm in Oregon. As Amy Roloff raised their 4 children, and as the family navigated milestones, heartbreaks, and new beginnings, fans came to know not only Matt and Amy, but also their children Zach, Jeremy, Molly, and Jacob, and eventually the new partners who entered their orbit. Among the most closely watched figures in the later seasons was Caryn Chandler. She had worked on the Roloff farm for years before becoming Matt's partner. To some fans, Caryn appeared as a stabilizing presence in Matt's post-divorce life. To others, she became a symbol of the tensions between past and present, between Amy's long stewardship of Roloff farms and the new era that Matt seemed eager to usher in. Because the Roloffs are real people, their lives exist at the intersection of fact, public perception, and speculation. Online discussions, tabloid headlines, and social media posts often take small details and spin them into dramatic narratives. In this article, we lean into that fascination but with a clear disclaimer. What follows is not a report of actual events, but a fictionalized what-if scenario based on the themes and conflicts fans have already noticed. What if the quiet tensions and off-camera disagreements that fans whisper about were allowed to explode into a full-blown saga? What if Caryn issued a chilling ultimatum to Amy, forcing Matt into an impossible corner? In this speculative retelling, we imagine that very situation. When the cameras stopped rolling after the latest season, the Roloff family was at a crossroads. Matt continued to run Roloff Farms, a sprawling property famous for its pumpkin patch and family events. Amy had remarried to Chris Merrick and moved off the farm, yet she still held emotional ties to the land where she had raised her children. Caryn, no longer just an employee, was now Matt's partner, sharing his vision for the future of the farm and for their lives together. Publicly, all 3 tried to keep things civil. Amy promoted her baking ventures and her motivational speaking. Matt posted updates about farm projects. Caryn kept a relatively low profile, appearing occasionally in Matt's photos and on the show. Yet fans could sense undercurrents of tension. Every Instagram post about the farm sale or a family gathering without certain members triggered waves of speculation. Had Matt and Amy truly made peace? Was Caryn influencing decisions behind the scenes? Were the Roloff children united or divided? These questions were grounded in real, documented developments: the partial sale of Roloff farms, disagreements over inheritance and management, and the different ways each family member wanted to move forward. But fans' imaginations took it further. Message boards filled with insider stories, anonymous sources, and theories about secret deals or whispered confrontations. It is in this atmosphere that our fictional narrative begins. In our story, months after the last filming day, Amy returns to Roloff Farms for a charity event. Matt and Caryn are there, hosting vendors and welcoming guests. Chris stays at Amy's side, quietly supportive, but wary of the tension. The air is crisp, the pumpkin patch vibrant, yet beneath the smiles lurks unresolved history. We imagine Caryn, feeling both protective of Matt and frustrated by Amy's lingering presence on the farm, approaching Amy privately. The conversation starts politely, but soon takes a darker turn. It's not a threat in the criminal sense, nothing that would ever bring police or lawyers, but an emotional ultimatum, a demand that Amy stop interfering with certain decisions or risk seeing long-cherished connections to the farm severed forever. For Amy, in our story, the words hit like ice. She has always tried to stay above the fray, to move on with dignity. But the farm is not just land. It is decades of her life, her children's childhood memories, her identity. To be told she might lose even symbolic ties to it feels like a deep betrayal. Meanwhile, Matt, unaware at first, finds himself caught between the 2 most significant women of his adult life. In the pages ahead, we explore how this fictional, chilling threat and the secret behind it push him to a decision that could reshape the Roloff legacy. The charity event on the farm had been planned for weeks, Yet Amy felt a strange sense of foreboding as she drove up the familiar gravel path. In the past, these events had been family affairs. This time, though, she sensed she was a guest rather than a host. Signs bearing Matt and Karen's names greeted visitors at the entrance. The pumpkin patch, once her pride, now felt like neutral ground. Inside the barn, laughter and the scent of apple cider floated through the air. Children queued up for hayrides while vendors arranged rows of handmade crafts. Chris squeezed Amy's hand reassuringly. He could tell she was nervous but also proud. She had baked dozens of pies for the fundraiser, her way of staying connected to the farm's community spirit. Across the room, Karin watched them. She had dressed impeccably for the occasion, projecting warmth and professionalism as she greeted donors. Yet her eyes tracked Amy's every move. For months, she had tried to ignore the undercurrent of tension, but a simmering frustration had grown. In her view, Amy's appearances at farm events blurred boundaries and undermined Matt's new chapter. In our story, that frustration builds to a breaking point. Later that afternoon, Amy steps outside for a breath of air. She walks to the edge of the pumpkin fields, where the rows of orange stretch toward the horizon. The crunch of footsteps behind her makes her turn.
Karin is there, alone.
The crowd noise fades, leaving only the rustle of corn stalks and the low hum of farm machinery. For a moment they stand in silence, the wind tugging at their jackets. Then Karin speaks again, her tone sharper, almost rehearsed. Amy, I think it's time we had an honest conversation. About the farm. About boundaries. Karin takes a step closer. Her voice drops, cold but controlled. If you really care about your family's future, you'll stop showing up unannounced. You'll let Matt and me handle things. Otherwise, she hesitates, then delivers the line that freezes Amy's breath. Otherwise, you might find yourself cut out of more than you realize. It isn't a criminal threat. It's a personal one, an ultimatum framed as a warning. In our fictionalized account, Karin has learned of a private agreement Matt once made with Amy, a handshake deal about family access to certain parts of the farm, a promise never put into writing. Karin believes it's outdated, and she wants it gone. Amy, hearing this, feels as if a trapdoor has opened beneath her.
Hey,